Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we are doing 1982's Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan.
That was better, by the way, than William Shatner's. I built it up. I was more impressed with Zachary Quinto's Kahn than I was William Shatner's in this. We'll get the hate started right away because I like Zachary Quinto's version better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we will get some hate for this. I don't know about you, but growing up, I wasn't a huge Star Trek fan.
I was more into Star Wars than I was Star Trek.
Yes. I mean, let's face it, back in like the 70s and into the 80s, there could only be two. There was really only two true like sci-fi blockbuster type shows or movies, and it was Star Trek and Star Wars. Everything else was kind of, and even though Star Trek had chinsiness, every other sci-fi it was super chinsy. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like did you shoot this in your garage? Like, where are the sets from? But with Star Trek 2, and the reason that we're doing this one, in my estimation, this is the best of the Star Trek movies.
Yes.
But B, it's also a request, so we figured we'd do that too. So with that being said, we'll get into this. And before we do, if you want to reach out to me or Corey on Twitter, you can reach out to me at Junior D's. You can reach out to Corey at Idle Poncho. And let's get into this one. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. This film stars William Shatner as James T. Kirk, Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Spock, DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy, and Ricardo Montalbán as Kahn. I don't know who the hell Ricardo's fooling in here with that fake-ass chest that he had. But let's start with that. Because I saw him and I'm like, yeah, you're a little old. That chest looks super tight and young.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say that genetically modified super soldiers should look like Chris Evans, less than Ricardo Montalbán.
Agreed. This movie begins as Kirk has become an admiral. He's overseeing training at the beginning with Lieutenant Savick, played by Kirstie Alley, as the captain in training.
Yes.
And he's going through all that. He also has a discussion with McCoy here about getting back into the captain's chair before he gets too old.
Yeah, William Shatner is basically in this movie going through a midlife crisis.
Yes, that's basically it. Meanwhile, you have Commander Chekhov and Captain Terrell heading down to a planet to check for life for the Genesis project. They've had a discussion with Dr. Marcus about the planet they found. She wants them to make sure that there needs to be zero life on said planet in order for them to execute Project Genesis. So when they beam down to the planet, they find cargo carriers. Chekhov soon discovers it's from the SS Botany Bay. And we know this because he says it twice.
Botany Bay. Botany Bay.
As they like scramble to leave, and he's like, we got to get the fuck out of here, they run into Kahn and his crew. Kahn reveals here that 15 years earlier, Kirk exiled him and his crew to Ceti Alpha 5. Soon thereafter, Ceti Alpha 6 explodes.
Yes.
Which sends Ceti Alpha 5, it kills Ceti Alpha 5's ecosystem, shifting the planet in orbit. So basically, Chekhov and Terrell go down thinking this is Ceti Alpha 6.
Yes.
So Kahn also blames Kirk for his wife's death, and he wants revenge.
Yes.
This here is the best scene in the whole movie, and it's one of the most memorable scenes. I saw this as a kid. I was probably 6 or 7 when I saw this. And this was a terrifying scene for me. And it was also like you couldn't take your eyes off of it, because he goes in here and he takes like the baby SETI eels or whatever they're called, and he puts them into Chekhov and Captain Terrell's ears as a mind control device. Yeah. Puts them into the helmets. They crawl into the ears. I think this is the reason why I have this unnatural fear of earwigs to this day. Like, I can't with those things. So
Fair enough.
So anytime I see one, I gotta burn it. I gotta shoot it. I gotta do whatever I gotta do to get rid of that thing. So it goes in the ears, which freaks me the fuck out. And they basically go crazy and they become his like sentient fucking whatever, his little soldiers. He then has Chekhov call into Regular One, tell Dr. Marcus that SETI Alpha 6 is ready for Genesis testing, and Starfleet is sending Reliant to pick up all the Genesis components, and the order was given by Kirk.
And up to this point, we still have no fucking idea what Genesis is.
Yes.
They just keep saying Genesis over and over and over again. And it's like, okay, I get it, but at some point, explain it. Give us hints.
They don't explain it until after this scene. And I mean, we're 20 minutes, a half an hour in, and you still have no idea what the hell's going on. And then Kirk, Spock, and McCoy all get together and they play the DVD of Project Genesis. They put that up and it explains the whole thing. And
they're in the 23rd century, they say?
Yes.
We're in the 21st century right now. In 200 years, we are not going to build a terraforming device that in one day miraculously creates atmosphere and trees and pushes us closer to the sun. Whatever the fuck is happening with this machine is complete and utter bullshit.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say terraforming takes a lot of centuries itself to complete, not one fucking day.
Well, magic, movie magic,
acting,
brilliant.
Let's go.
I was gonna say this is science fiction. You can kind of make the rules up as they go along. Fuck, they built a whole church on it. So I mean, what the hell? So during this, Admiral Kirk gets back onto the Enterprise with McCoy and Spock to take cadets through a training cruise. During said cruise, Kirk gets word from Dr. Marcus about his approval for Genesis, and Kirk sets course for Regular One to straighten out the matter, in person, because of all communications are down. This is what always upsets me about Star Trek. Okay, and again, I actually liked like the New Generation and like this. Those were more modern shows as I was growing up, but they still had the same type of shit that happened in those shows that happened in these shows, the original Star Trek, which was communications are always down. People are taking over your communications. People are jamming your communication. Like, was there not an IT person available during any of these Star Trek missions that was like, all you got was like the racist Irish guy, the racist Russian guy, nobody was there to actually fix shit. Nobody was there to the communications are down. Well, I'm here. My name's Bob. And I mean, you couldn't have the racist Italian guy. Like, I'm going to fix everything for you. It's over here. The communications are down right now, but I'm going to turn to some knobs. Everything's going to be okay. That guy didn't exist on these shows.
No, they didn't even have the turn it off and on again guy.
Just unplug
That's the first
it.
thing you should always do.
That's the
click. Wait 10 seconds. Turn it fucking back on.
That's the Italian guy. That's the Italian guy. Did you unplug and plug it back in? No, that didn't work. So they run into the Reliant during this whole thing.
Yep.
Now captained by Kahn. The Reliant begins firing on the Enterprise. Kahn reveals himself to Kirk. Kirk does some Kirk shit here and takes control of the Reliant systems, lowers its shields, it fires at the Reliant. So now both ships kind of limp away from this battle.
Yes,
and again,
he knows the double secret private code that can do the one thing to get him out of the one situation.
exactly.
And this is my problem with Star Trek too, is 9 times out of 10, it's Kirk or Spock that have the plan. Nobody else on that fucking ship can think worth a damn. It's just those two guys. And then 2, it's always, well, we can't put our shields up. We might offend them. Fuck that. I'm traveling the universe into uncharted territory. My shields are always up. Are you fucking kidding me? Not even a chance of taking them down. I have my blinds up right now, and my lighting looks like shit on camera.
Well, if you look at it, the shields use a lot of power, and then they can't get out under warp speed. Let me tell you something about warp speed. It never works.
No, because you're always in auxiliary power. You're always in auxiliary power.
Constantly.
Somebody needs to think ahead on the ground here before building these machines and saying they are inevitably going to have their communications hacked. They are inevitably going to need their shields up, and they are inevitably going to fall into auxiliary power for some reason. Let's solve those 3 things before it happens.
Yes.
And then you move on.
Or
you have a second generator hooked up. I don't know what you do.
Kirk is now an admiral, right? He's been on plenty of missions. We've seen it from the previous seasons of the show.
Yes.
Not once did he call back to like Starfleet or whatever and go, hey guys, did you check out my captain's log for the last, 7 years? Dude, there's always something wrong with the communications. We're always in auxiliary power. The minute we get hit by anything, like it knocks us, we can't get into warp speed.
That's what it is. They couldn't read the logs because the communications were jammed up. They're like, no, we never got your communications. We're back on Earth, hundreds of light years away from you. That's going to take a very long time to get to us.
Dude, that's the equivalent. The whole communications are down as the equivalent. Like, you didn't get my email? Did you check the spam folder? Communications must be down. So
sorry, bro. I thought I responded last night.
The Enterprise finally arrives to the regular one and notices dead bodies are all over the place. Everybody else is gone. So they find Chekhov and Captain Terrell here, who are dazed and explained what happened with the earwigs.
Paul Winfield and Chekhov hiding in a fucking cabinet like they're the kids from Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Come on. And you think Kahn, with his superior intelligence, who just wrecked this place and strung people up like he's in Predator 2.
Yeah.
He's not going to look in the cabinet, the one undisturbed item in the room. He's not going to be like, those motherfuckers are in there. Well, he was just like, yeah, we got all the guys in the white shirts. Fuck it. Obviously, this is a setup.
There's only 2 conclusions when you find Chekhov and Terrell in this thing. Either they hid there, or Kahn just decided to be a high school bully and stuffed them in a locker before he left. Like,
right. He's Emilio Estevez in Breakfast Club. He's going to be the next one in the sequel that gets in there.
He taped their butt cheeks.
I am Kahn. What are you in for? I taped the guy's butt cheeks together. Oh, that is brutal.
So after this, they beam down to the last coordinates that regular one had in its system. And they find Dr. Marcus and a few of her crew with her in this little cave that they had built.
And the fucking kid dealing with daddy issues where it's like, dude, don't fucking... You got a big fucking attitude for just being a little scientist, dude.
Exactly.
You need to take it. Wait, I know that's maybe ironic with me saying that, but... You got to slow your roll, bro. You're just running into every situation cocksure, and that's not the way to go for life, son.
Well, Kirk is his dad, so he was like, I'm going to overact, and I'm going to overreact to every situation, period.
I'm punching dudes, and I'm fucking bitches, because my name is Dave Tiberius Kirk. I don't know why I go with Dave so often now for my aliases.
Chekhov and Captain Terrell here pull the old switcheroo on Kirk, as they are still controlled by Kahn and the earwigs, and Terrell shoots himself because he overcomes the earwigs, and Chekhov collapses as one of the earwigs slips out of his ear, and Kirk vaporizes it. Here's my question about this scene. Literally, when Kahn is explaining the earwigs earlier, right?
Yeah.
And they go into the ear, and he's like, "Oh," and they drive you crazy. You know, you're susceptible to suggestion, and then they'll drive you crazy, and then you die.
Yeah,
like
because they move further up the brain.
Yeah, and they grow, and
yep.
So. But then here, okay, I get it. Oh, must fight the earwigs and kill myself. Cool, that's that. But then the earwig just decides to what? Die and slurp out of your ear because feelings? Or, like, I don't understand. Like, it's supposed to stay in there and kill you.
Well, it might be sentient itself. And so it saw what happened from the ear hole and was like, fuck that, white flag. Nope, I'm good. And then Kirk, being a dickhead, just was like, no, surrender. That's what I'm going with anyway.
Cool. I'll go with your explanation because I don't have one. Let's move on. The Genesis device is beamed away here by Kahn. And Kirk gets on Terrell's communicator to Kahn and gives his best Kirk line here.
Kahn, you bloodsucker. You're going to have to do your own dirty work now. Do you hear me? Do you?
This is William Shatner doing William Shatner shit on camera. And it's literally, it's the best line of the fucking movie. Can we just say that?
Probably.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Probably.
But
this is also where he drops Kahn. And again, it was such a letdown. Because I haven't seen this.
Was it a letdown? Was it a letdown from what you remember?
Yes, I hadn't seen this movie in a very long time. And I remember it just being like fucking full of rage and like
guttural.
William Shatner's about to come and whoop your candy ass.
Yes.
And then it was just like, so watching it this morning, I knew the part was coming up. Got kind of, all right, kind of got excited for it. Leaned down, watched a little harder, and it was like, Kahn! Cool. That was a fucking waste of time.
I don't think it was that subtle.
That's what I heard. I don't know. Maybe I have an earwig. I don't know.
Through some cunning on Spock and Kirk's part, they devised this plan where the Enterprise would hide as to not be seen by the Reliant, to buy them some time to get beamed out from the cave that they're in. And after this, there comes some cat and mouse between the Reliant and the Enterprise. And after some more of Kirk's superior intellect, the Enterprise surprise attacks the Reliant. The Reliant's crippled, and most of Kahn's crew is dead now.
But so they fly into the nebula. Kahn's afraid to follow. Kirk's like, hey, what are you, pussy? And Kahn's like, no, I'm Marty McFly. I'm going in. So he fucking flies in. And then Kirk has the advantage and outthinks him with torpedoes and maneuvers. I liked all of this right up until the point where Kahn, in his dying moments, quotes fucking Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yep.
I'm like, wait, what? We've done a string of movies recently where nobody's writing original shit.
It's a callback from earlier when they're on the...
I get it.
I don't know. I know you were drinking, so I figured I would just bring it up again, that it was a callback.
The metaphor of Kahn being Ahab and Kirk being his white whale and all that shit.
And Moby Dick was on the carrier on one of the shelves.
Yeah, great. That's your fucking quote?
Yes, I guess. So
well, then we got to suffer through the fucking quote from A Tale of Two Cities.
Yes. Yep. At the very end,
this movie was written by like whoever wrote it, and then goddamn Melville, goddamn Charlie Dick, and whoever else you want to throw in there. whatever other fucking classic writer they just decided to borrow from to fill in time.
Yep.
So annoying.
Yep. But the Reliance crippled. The crew, Kahn's crew is now dead. And Kahn then, in one last attempt to get revenge, he activates the Genesis device, knowing it's going to kill everyone. With the Enterprise not able to avoid the blast, and he'll die, but so will Kirk, and yay, and that's when you get the Moby Dick line, and he collapses. Spock then enters the warp drive system, because that's fucking broken, because of course it is. So he enters the warp drive system, risks the radiation to fix it, and get the Enterprise out of harm's way. Which, this scene, so I remember the earwig scene at the beginning. I remember, Kahn and Bloodsucker and whatever. And I remember this scene. But when I was a kid, this scene was so sad to me.
I thought it was still really sad. I wasn't upset like I was when I was a kid.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Sad. It was, as a kid, it was, I remember, the quivering lip, during this scene. And this scene still absolutely holds up over time. It's still very sad scene. And I love Leonard Nimoy. Leonard Nimoy. And he does a great job through all the Star Treks. He's the fucking man. But in this scene, he's awesome too.
Yeah, this is Bill Shatner's best acting of his career. This scene.
Yep.
He's so good and understated, sad, but it was really good. Really good. And I also really commend them, being the director or producer, whoever decided on this, not to show Nimoy covered in radiation, poisoning, and scars, taking away from the dialogue. Because the dialogue here is what was driving it. It was these two battle-hardened men and best friends saying goodbye. Yeah,
you just see a little bit on his face, and that's it. Like that, it was.
You can see his skin turning gray, but that's
it's
such a good scene.
It's subtle enough for the audience to know what's going on, but not so much that it takes away from the actual scene. Because both these guys do a phenomenal job in this scene. And then you get, after this, it cuts to Spock's funeral aboard the Enterprise. As Scotty plays Amazing Grace on the bagpipes.
I was like, did fucking James Doohan just have it in his contract to fucking blast Amazing Grace or whatever song he chose on his bagpipes?
Yeah,
that seemed really weird for a science fiction movie, because that is a very religious song.
Yeah, well, it's a very religious song, and as you mentioned, it's 200 years into the future.
Yeah, and he's a fucking alien. I don't think his concept of Christ really applies.
I don't think his concept of Christ really applies. A couple of things. One, I don't think Spock has religion. I don't think he's found Jesus. And two, I was like, I don't think he's Irish either. Why are we playing the bagpipes? Okay, cool, whatever. So it's
Scotty's like, he's dead. What's he gonna do? Care?
Yeah, Scotty's like, I want to jam on these fucking bagpipes, and I'm gonna play Amazing Grace, bitches. How you like them apples?
Engineers are allowed to be sad too.
They put him in the torpedo capsule, and they shoot him out into the newly terraformed Genesis planet atmosphere, whatever. And as the movie ends, we have shots of the Genesis ecosystem and the one last shot of the torpedo casing on the planet with Spock's voiceover reciting Star Trek's opening monologue. I have some conflicting feelings about this movie. Because although I do feel this is the best Star Trek movie, I think, out of them all. It was the one I cared about the most. It was the one that I remembered the most from when I was a kid. But again, I haven't seen this it's probably been at least 25 years. And I didn't have the same feelings about it after it was over that I did 25 years ago.
Yeah, well, no, and I think the main reason is because in part 3, they go searching for Spock and they find him. So
yeah,
the consequences aren't steadfast now. We know that he's back.
Yeah.
He's back in 3. They go find some humpback whales or something, and then he shows up again in J.J. Abrams shit. So
yeah,
we're good. Like that was my problem with it. The emotional severity of losing Spock.
Yeah.
Who is a classic all-time character, period. I don't care if it's science fiction, television, books, whatever. Yep. Spock is a fucking god of a character.
Yeah.
And the weight of him being lost, it's just not felt anymore because you know he's there. So
yeah. No, that's a great point. And I'll be honest too, for 1982, and again, we talk about effects in some of the 90s movies we've done.
Yeah.
Dude, for 1982, these effects were really good.
Oh, they did a great job. Really, like we bag on it, but we bag on everything.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Is it dated? Yeah, in a way, just because of the science fiction moniker attached to it.
Yeah. The only
thing, I mean?
The
story itself is not the story itself's been rehashed a million times.
Yeah.
I think they thought they had a little bit of a headier movie than they really did.
Possibly. I mean, I liked the storyline. I liked everything about it. I liked the way it was shot. There was a few things, whether it was director's decision, producer's decision, that I was like, didn't really care for that, looking back at it now. But the one thing that really dated this movie, you want to talk, because normally when we talk about period pieces or futuristic pieces, science fiction, it's hard to be dated, like when you're talking about uniforms and that kind of thing. Dude, you want to know what dated this movie? Was goddamn Admiral Kirk's bell-bottom fucking skinny jeans that he was wearing.
You don't know, those are necessary in space travel.
Are they? Okay. I was just wondering. Important. They were a distraction for me in 2021. Like back then, there's just like, that's what they wore. Gives a shit. As a grown man in 2021, I was like, what's going on with his pants? Like, it just, I don't know. For me, it was just a distraction, but whatever. I still think this still holds up because you still care about, you still care about the characters. The storyline's still good. I love Ricardo Montalbán. I love that dude. And he does such a good job in this. I would like to see if his chest is up for auction, though, on like eBay or something. I'd like to purchase that and wear it around the house.
You mean his fake chest or like his real chest?
Nah, his real chest is probably deteriorated by now.
I don't know. We could have a Ted Williams situation. Could be frozen in Scottsdale somewhere.
No, I would like to see if his fake chest is available to purchase on eBay.
Well, there you go. Commenters, let us know.
Let us know if you could find it. If you could find it and it's in my $30 price range, I'm right there. I'll buy that shit. But that's all I got. Do you got anything else for the show?
No, man. Overall, it was a good movie. Like I said, I really hated the fact that they just used some of their most powerful moments by quoting other authors. Do something else.
Yeah.
Do your own shit.
I agree.
That's all.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1982's Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.